Hello, hello.
Hi guys. Hi
Hi
everyone.
guys. So slowly filling up, slowly getting people in. Hey, Ankush. Nice to see you. Nice to see so many familiar faces from all around the world. That's what the LTD community does, right? And the SaaS community brings people together. Hi, Nero. Hi.
That would
Let's
be
just
like,
give.
so it's
Yeah,
like
go ahead,
LTD
Marian.
brings people together, right?
Yeah. Hello. Hey, John. Hey, Ahmed. Ursula, Adriana. How are you doing, guys? Hope you have a great day today. You might know it's a very special day for everyone, for us too. Hi, Razvan. Hi, Diraj. Greetings to you too. Cool. Let's just give another minute so people can join just before we kick things off. Yeah, definitely. I think the PROCESIO team will. They first of all they're here to answer all our questions. So I'll also guide you a bit through how we'll be moving today. It will be a short webinar, so we're 40 minutes webinar, going through a short presentation of PROCESIO, going through a Q&A. It will be pretty casual, let's say. But anytime you do have questions, I do encourage you to use the Q&A component in sessions. That's how we'll get questions today. You'll be able to find it underneath the chat in the bottom right. So you have a questions tab. I'll leave off anonymous questions, just because there's an important thing here, and you'll get to see it. Just a minute. Hi, Taylor, Anthony. Hello, everyone. So, I think we're pretty set to go ahead. I'll do a short intro on what we'll be looking at today, and then I'll pass it on to Marian and Andrei, our resident processors of team, that will guide you through the ins and outs of the product. So, first of all, thanks again for being here. This is a community event. It's just for the community. We haven't made it public. We haven't invited people outside of the PROCESIO and the LTDs community, because we just wanted to use this opportunity to say thanks for all the support we had so far. It's been a great couple of weeks. I think we've seen a lot of enthusiasm for PROCESIO in the last couple of weeks. It was really cool to see that. We were expecting some enthusiasm, of course, but the levels that got to the community, I was just looking over some posts, and we have like over 2,000 comments in total and community posts. That's crazy. Actually, that's crazy to see on a startup that's just getting into AppSumo LTDs in this world. So thanks once again on behalf of the PROCESIO team. We'd like you to bring this enthusiasm in today's webinar. Ask your best questions, your hardest questions. We have the best people here to answer them. But just to pump up that enthusiasm even a bit more, probably know that this webinar today also has a special giveaway. I'll get here because I like to see the team too. I'll say it like this. We also have a special giveaway in this webinar, like in the actual webinar. There will be two LTDs in the giveaway. One is will be a random extraction of everyone that's attending. So if you join the webinar, you're automatically in the giveaway. So if you still have people that you know that want to join, want to come in, you can call them in. They get a free chance for an LTD. Of course, that means less chances for everyone here, but hey, we want to have the more the merrier. But there's also a second LTD being given away. So these are PROCESIO LTDs tier 1 from AppSumo. The second one will be given for the question that gets the most engagement in the comments. So we'll be getting a lot of questions, question and answers. You can even start sending them, I think, as soon as you want, if you know PROCESIO and know things about it. The question that gets the most engagement in the comments will be given an LTD. Questions, you'll see when you ask them, you have a like button and you can upvote the question, and that's how we'll pick the best answer. Cool, so some more familiar faces joining. Just to sum up, two LTDs being given away, one random for everyone attending, one for the best question. So again, everyone, thank you. I think this is the moment. Thanks, Diraj. Thanks. This is the moment that I'll pass it over to the actual people we're here for. The PROCESIO team will tell you a bit about the product and about themselves. So, Marian, Andrei.
Sure. Thank you very much, Alex. Thank you for this great introduction. People, thank you for having us here. And let's run a bit to PROCESIO. We plan just to have a short overview of what we are doing. Andrei will also show a bit of our technology. And we want to allow you to ask as much questions as possible, so that's why we will run quickly to this overview. Now let's start.
Marian, probably would be nice first of all a bit to introduce ourselves. I'm not sure, probably some people know us, but probably you could say like 2 words about yourself and then 2 words about us, and then we move on to the product itself.
Course, Andrei,
what do you say about that?
Definitely so. That is why I just set the expectation for what we will showcase. And now we also have a beautiful slide with both of us, Andrei and Marian. So, Andrei, I will let you introduce yourself because that will be appropriate, and I will introduce myself, right?
Okay, so let's do that. Guys, first of all, thank you for joining us today over here. Obviously, it's an exciting day for us, and actually the past months was really exciting because we had the AppSumo launch, and besides the AppSumo launch, we also have the product on launch today, and we rely on your votes over there as well on our Discord, because probably when you are going to use our technology, you might need help, assistance in your cases, and over there is where we offer our assistance. But now some words about myself. I'm VP of Product and PROCESIO, and I would say probably the greatest thing about the job that I'm doing is the fact that I'm at the intersection of all teams. Like, I see ideas being put into the product, and I get to communicate with everyone. And why is this so great? Mainly because we have a great team. That's the short answer. And you will see that also. You will be able to see that if you go comment in Product Hunt, ask us questions in Discord, you will see that everyone is hands-on, involved, and behind this product. So I think this is why, I don't know, probably I like being at PROCESIO and doing what I do on a daily basis. Now, Marian, going back to you.
Thank you very much, Andrei. So guys, I'm Marian Voicu. I'm co-founder and deputy CEO of PROCESIO. We already been in touch in all the LTD communities. We've been interacted, discussing. So with some of you, we already interacted a bit. If Andrei said that he likes being here at PROCESIO and doing what he's doing, guiding the product development of PROCESIO, what I like most is the fact that people like Andrei work with us, and they love building and doing what they do with PROCESIO. So this is what I like most, our team and the dedication and involvement. Now, let's advance a bit with a short overview of what is PROCESIO. We like to say that PROCESIO is a cloud intelligent automation technology that helps companies to cover challenges like the one you see here in our slide, like integrating with systems, national systems in our case, because we have a lot of use cases with integrating big company systems with the national systems. Building virtual client assistance, client onboarding, HR onboarding, cash collection, and so forth. But what is PROCESIO more than that? It's like a visual automation, development, and execution environment. PROCESIO can take shapes, can be used to cover BPM use cases or needs, business process modeling needs, can be an integration platform as a service if you need it to be, can be used as an enterprise service bus if you want it to be, or just for simple extract or some load use cases. And on top of it, we have low code and no code approach to things, but also full code. And I want to stay a bit on this no code because some of you mentioned a lot in some comments that Procesio is not quite no code, and I get it why, but people nowadays are seeing no code only for citizen developers or for people that do not understand system. But we do not see it like that. We see no code and low code like a way of building software. It's just a way. It's like an abstract, another layer of abstracted layer on top of code or of development. So no code for us. It's also for coders, for people that understand systems, or for business people that have a technical mindset. That is why we are saying we have no code, low code, and full code. So to use Procesio, you need to understand this type of concept: low code, no code, and code, but also concepts like APIs, data models, variables. Why are those important? Because those are the keys to use Procesio as it most, to integrate with systems APIs, to map data into data models, and move data between actions as variables. What else do you need to know to use Procesio? At least to understand what is the logical schema or a business flow, because we are an automation technology, workflow automation technology. So concepts like this are useful when using Procesio. Now, Andrei, I propose to switch to you and run us a bit through Procesio, but just a short overview, because I'm sure that people here have a lot of questions, and better to allocate as much time as possible to that, right? I'm not sure if Andrei is still with us.
Yeah, Andrei sit with you was talking on mute. Sorry for that. I took over the screen sharing. Marian, thanks for the overview that you offered us. And one of the things that I want to mention is that Procesio obviously is a low-code, no-code platform and can also go full code. But obviously here is my product hunt, by the way, my product hunt screen, and I have voted for Procesio. But one of the cool things about Procesio that I wanted to mention and also to depict is the fact that we can also go besides low code and no code to full code. Once you log in Procesio, so I'm logged in with one of my testing users, you will be able to see this dashboard and some video tutorials for onboarding and stuff like that. I urge you to go through the videos. They are short and they will give you an insight of what Procesio can do. This is the menu on the left-hand side. In Process Designer is actually where the magic happens. This is, I have a pre-built process. You will all have, upon sign up, you will all have this pre-built process that you can use. Obviously, on the left side hand, I have the platform actions. These are pre-built actions that you just need to drag and drop on the canvas. And once you drag and drop them, you can configure them and do all the magic, connect them. So it's pretty easy and intuitive in terms of what you have to do. There are a lot of concepts over here. And obviously, one of the things that I want to mention, we mentioned full code many times and over again. And what do we mean by this is the fact that, like, if you don't find one of the, you need an action and you don't find it between what we already offer, you have the possibility to upload your, create your custom action using C#. Obviously, we have a lot of documentations related to this, so you can obviously visit our documentation in order to see how to build custom actions. I'm not going to go a lot through this at this time, but we got you covered with that part as well. So if you, as mentioned, if you miss any of the actions, you can go create it yourself, upload it, and then you will be able to drag and drop it as the other actions on the canvas and use it. And not only use it, you will be able to reuse it and reuse it in many other processes. I think this is the central part. Besides this, we also have something which we call credentials managers. From the credentials managers in here, you will be able to centrally create your credentials and also manage them. Like you hit create credentials, you give it a name. We have REST API credentials, SMTP, FTP, SQL credentials, depending on your needs. You create your credential. Once a credential is configured, it's ready to be used within an action. Let's say a password change, you won't have to go in each action and change that password. You will be able to change it centrally from the credentials managers. Then we have data models, which is similar to data types. You can use this in order to create data types and use it with values for variables and so on within a process. Really important part are the webhooks. Obviously, we like this related to webhook. You can create webhooks. Let's say an event happens, I don't know, in one of your platforms, one of the integrations that you have, let's say in Jira, Facebook, someone likes and you want to trigger a process, you only have to set a webhook. When somebody likes your post in Product Hunt, let's put it like this, or upvotes your product in Product Hunt, a process can be triggered. You can notify via email, or you can use all the other actions in combination in order to do something in PROCESIO. We also have schedules. Let's say you want to run a process at an interval of time or in a specific day, you can easily create a schedule and you have all the necessary options. We have process instances. So for instance, if you run a process, you can obviously go into debugging mode after running the process. And obviously this process, I didn't mention what the process is doing. It's actually giving me a weather report. I'm based in Cluj, so I'm gonna run this quickly process. We're not gonna stay a lot of on this process, but just wanted to give you a hint of what's happening. This is the debugging mode. I'm going to refresh the instance, and very cool feature that I don't want to forget about mentioning is the document designer. I received the API, the weather in Cluj, apparently Sparty callout did. We have 22 degrees over here and some other stuff. This is actually used just for demo purposes. I'm not gonna stay a lot on this, but it's something pretty cool that I want to show you immediately because otherwise I might forget. Namely, the document designer. You can edit a document and use variables from within a process. So what happened actually here is the following. We have this document template. We had the call API in the process, which interrogated like the weather from an open API, and the variables were populated directly in the document itself. And this is how we got that report. Going back, not to forget something, I also want to mention that at the end of the process, we have, besides the instances, we have something which we call end process notification. So you can be notified if a process was run with success or if it failed. And this is obviously important because you're interested to know whether the job got done successfully or not. I'm moving a bit back to the presentation slides, and one of the questions, actually, this is the visual that I like most related to PROCESIO. And why is that? Because this is how I actually see PROCESIO, and I think we all at PROCESIO agree on this image. Namely, PROCESIO is actually at the intersection of multiple integration. And this is what actually PROCESIO can do for you and for everyone using it. Namely, you can connect different data sources, keep them in sync. When something happens, you can write within a spreadsheet software the entries. I think imagination is the limit. And yes, as mentioned by Marian, also being able to go full code obviously requires to some extent technical acumen. Not sure if there are any questions. If there are no questions so far, I would jump to some use cases that we did. And also, yeah, Marian, what do you
Andrei,
think? Is there something that you want to, yeah?
No, I propose just to run quickly to the use cases because there are a lot and people already ask questions related to use cases, and maybe we should switch quickly to the Ask Me Anything part of this session, right? So if you want just use cases.
Yes, let's just take some two use cases. Obviously, on our website, procesio.com, you will be able to find a lot more. Namely, you will be able to find study cases and so on. But here on this slide, we have some of our customers. We are proud to have them as customers, obviously. And some of the use cases that we tackle at this point are related to regulations. Namely, we have e-invoicing. Obviously, all the invoices need to be sent to governmental agencies in order for them to be tracked. And these are use cases that are very appropriate for PROCESIO, but we are not obviously limited to this. Then we also have something which we call our on-prem agent. We have had one of our customers in need of doing some commands on their desktop, and therefore we provided them with an on-prem agent that can handle the job. That's something extra, but if needed, we can offer guidance on how to use these on-prem agents. Another use case that I would like to touch base on, and it was one of the, I think, best use cases that we had so far, is the one from an energy, and I'm not sure if it's an energy, it's more a service provider. However, the use case was about receiving emails that contained meter readings, namely gas and electricity meter readings, and using PROCESIO, we were extracting information out of the emails and sending the readings directly to their database. You have to imagine the complexity behind this. The emails were not in a template. The emails were written like, I don't know, let's put it like that. They were a bit messy, and we had to use PROCESIO as well as probably some regexes in order to be able to extract the information, validate the information, and also send it to the database for the customer. You have to imagine that previous to this, the customer was using actually people in order to do this manually. And I mean, it was kind of, to be honest, kind of an ugly job to do this manually. Like, come on, it's something that no one should do manually. This is at least what I think.
Andrei, I have a question. Let's switch to the questions, because people ask a lot of questions, and the time is limited. So, Alex, guide us to the next session.
Probably Alex is on mute.
No, I'm here.
Oh, Alex, you too?
Yeah. Guys, there are a lot of questions. I think we'll take them in order of appearance, and in case we don't get to answer them all, we are doing a follow-up on this probably next week. But we'll try to go in like a speed dating type of format. I'll put them answer live. You guys can also put an answer live. So I'll take an example. First question. Just hit answer live. It appears here. People, you can upvote for any question you see in the chat, in the question area. So take it away, guys.
So the first question, you go, Marian, or I go, or we share.
We will go together. Like so you start, and we will share this first question regarding Zapier and Pabbly.
Okay, so I see. Please make a comparison with Zapier, Make, Pabbly, Robomation, and like obviously there are out there tons of automation tools that can do a lot of stuff. Some of them can, some of them not. I think the most important aspect when it comes to PROCESIO is that you can easily go full code, and when compared to Zapier and this stuff and other automation tools, we are much more configurable. Like anything that you cannot do in Pabbly, Zapier, and whatever, or all the limitations you hit over there, most probably you won't hit in PROCESIO. And I can give a short example. In Call API, for instance, we support form data. They don't. And the examples can follow and continue. Additionally, to add on top of that, also from a sales perspective of view, we sell on execution hours. Now these execution hours, I've noticed there were a lot. Yeah, I've went down to it, you know, like I asked for it to some extent, let's put it like that, or we asked for it. But when it comes to execution time, some people are afraid because they don't understand it to some extent. But you have to imagine one action in PROCESIO, like the ones that I dragged and dropped in the demo, one action goes in 100 milliseconds or under 100 milliseconds, and we are also looking for better improvement. Exactly. So that means, to some extent, like if my calculations are right, that within 1 hour you can execute 36,000 actions. Guys, it's 36,000 actions that you can execute in 1 hour. I don't know if you checked out the LTD on AppSumo, but there is the tiers. Like I think they should get you covered. For sure. Marian, I'm not sure if you want to add something related to this.
I want to add something because guys, so Zapier, Pabbly, Promotion are amazing products, right? They are amazing products for their niche. We also are covering automation spectrum, but not just that. We are more like a visual automation development and execution environment. You can build software on top of Procesio. Procesio can be software, it can be a backend if you need it. Scalable microservice-based backend that you will not build it yourself, you will have it ready to use. But also, our workflow designer is designed to unleash you with your use cases. So yes, Zapier probably are more towards simple connection or for people that are not that technical as a mindset. So just linear workflows, but with Procesio we are more towards logical schemas and advanced workflows. So we want to cover more advanced and complex use cases that you can do with even Zapier. Even Zapier has a lot of predefined use cases and they are amazing. You will quickly get stuck when you have contextual use cases, and contextual is everywhere. Every company, every project has a contextual stuff, something. So you cannot predefine every use case. That is why we focus on that flexibility. It's our niche. This is how we wanted to do it. But of course, we will predefine some high-level connectors, and those are on our short-term roadmap, right? Let's move.
Definitely slow. Just one thing to underline on something you mentioned. You mentioned it, but it was very shortly. So also a drawback. Let's put also a drawback to Procesio when it comes to this. At this point, the mindset that is needed for Procesio might be a bit more technical, and this is because we don't have the templates and predefined stuff, but they are coming. We are working on it, step by step. I won't give an ETA or something like that, but shortly we will also have connectors, templates, predefined stuff that will definitely aid you in your integrations. That's it. Stop.
Of course, Andrei, but that is because we intended this way. We intended to have a solid, powerful engine for automation. And on top of it, we can add this abstracted layers of high-level connectors, of predefined templates. But if you don't have a solid background, you will not be able to scale it that way. So this was our strategy, and we will have those, but at least we have this powerful engine. Let's move forward to the did you acquire Meta API? No, we did not. After we launched on AppSumo, we faced a lot of negativity from the community, LTD community, related to Meta API. We didn't even know what was and is Meta API, but we researched, we discussed with you, we understood what happened. We understood that it was a series of unfortunate events for Meta API, then they needed to shut down the business. They didn't want to do that. And at some point, I discussed with Matthew, the founder of Meta API, and asked him if he can provide the hashed emails of Meta API account, just for us to be able to give back something to the community, because we read a lot of comments and people were kind of upset about that. So we just asked for the hashed email, and Matthew was kind to give us those hashed emails to make that giveaway possible.
Now, and to some extent, I think that's a bit cool, because communities helping each other in the end, this is all about. That's why we launch on AppSumo, that's why we launch on Meta API, that's what we are here for you guys, and we ask for your support, and we actually need it.
Yep. Now, Andrei, how this compared to N8N? I have an answer to this, but do you have, or should I go?
Go first. I might add.
So I might say that N8N is an amazing product. It's also covering this more complex automation spectrum. And they have a cool feature of letting you install it in your own machine on a premise. This was not our strategy, and this is not how we build Procesio yet. But also, N8N is lacking some things that we have, like supporting natively Python script, right? N8N, as far as I know, you might correct me if I'm wrong, because I don't use N8N, but people from our community mentioned the difference, so I just emphasize on what I've read and discussed with the community. So in N8N, you have support for JavaScript, but you don't have for Python yet, I suppose. N8N's data transformation capabilities are limited and may not be suitable for complex data transformation. This is what people are saying. I do not know that. N8N do not have a native data modeling approach or a data tables feature like we have. What else do they not have? Document designer like we have. Don't have alias notifications, people said. Drag and drop native document designer. I already mentioned everything that I've read from the community. I do not know that, and I encourage you to convince yourself and verify this.
I think you got us covered on this one. Yeah, I would emphasize on the document designer, not for it to be overlooked. Like, it's really a cool feature, and not too many automation platforms have that there. So I would say that would be one of our unique selling points when it comes to document designer. Okay, let's take another one. Why did you choose time instead of number of tasks to consume in workflows? I can quickly answer this, and then you can extrapolate on in Marian if you want. I think it all goes down in the end to time, not to actions, because you have to imagine that whenever something executes something in Procesio, be it an action, that action consumes time on our infrastructure. Like, we also pay in the end for time on our infrastructure and for resources. And I think it's the coolest metric in the end, because we aim for it's also a metric that gives us the chance to become more performant in terms of stuff like how would it be to have a metric on actions, but then an action takes 3 hours to be executed, you know? So I think time is the most way of putting things in a transparent way to our customers. I don't know, Marian?
I will adapt for sure on the top of it. So we wanted to simplify things and to have one unique source of truth. Our North Star metric is the consumption of our technology. We do not limit on processes or on users or what you have there in Procesio. Only what you consume when an action is executed, not action design or used in processes. What is executed, and we wanted to prepare for the future, because if you can see, everything is about cloud, and in the future everything will be about cloud, and cloud is measured by consumption. So we wanted to make like a parity with the cloud consumption approach and to be prepared for the future. And I acknowledge that this is a bit confusing for people that already know about Zapier, about Publi, about those actions connectors, but this doesn't mean that it's simpler like that, because those of you that already use Zapier or other technologies you will see that soon when you start to use it, it will become highly expensive for hardcore stuff and hard to quantify. With the consumption metric, you will know what you have at your disposal, what is your execution time, and what you will consume. Also, to be honest, we believe that we have the fastest automation technology, because 100 milliseconds, and by the way, it's like 80 milliseconds, but let's say 100 milliseconds, like an average execution for an action, it's very fast. We have even basic action is now in our platform like number addition that takes only 10 milliseconds. So this is fast, really fast, and you can do a lot of things with this approach. So basically,
36,000 actions in 1 hour.
Yes, of course, when you have like complex call APIs or custom actions or SQL queries, those will take more than 100 milliseconds, even seconds or even minutes if you build hardcore stuff. But that makes sense for you to pay for what you consume, and we charge you what costs us, the consumption of our technology. That was the basic approach.
That just to touch base on the execution time that takes a bit longer than 100 milliseconds, it's because of external factors, like naming a call API, I don't know, hits another server or something like that, and for it to respond takes a bit longer because it's on their infrastructure, not on our infrastructure. That's one point. And
but if I may, regarding what you said, also people surely they mentioned here, but also on the Facebook groups, they mentioned okay, but why should we pay for the waiting time on the call API? You will pay because when you trigger the call API, we PROCESIO allocate infrastructure on that API, call API, that is waiting for, let's say, ChatGPT to respond in like 10 minutes. I just run a number there. That is why. But also we have actions like delay action that you can set a delay action in a process, like start the process now, put a delay after the 2 action runs, and the other 7 action will run tomorrow. You will not pay for 1 day and a half of running. No, only for when the action executed, not the delay between using our delay action.
Very good, you touch base on this, and one quick mention is the fact that shortly we'll have a video directly in our dashboard in PROCESIO over there, and you can find out more related to execution time. And obviously, if there are still concerns, feel free to shoot questions. We will try to answer those. Okay, let's move on. How time is calculated for a particular task? As mentioned before, we PROCESIO, when you build a process, you look at each action in a process. Let's say a process has 7 actions. 1 action on average takes 100 milliseconds. So let's say we have a process with 7 actions. That's 7, in order for it to be executed, on average it's going to take 700 milliseconds for it to be executed. I hope
to give an example, Andrei, more for that. So let's say you have a use case where you want to, let's say, send an email notification to all, onboarding notification to all people joining the technology. So let's say that the process have like 10 action per process. So some of the action can be a call API, a send email, and other data processing action. With the average of 100 milliseconds, it will be like 1 second per process, per notifying the customer and processing the data and moving to a database. Let's say 1 second. If you have like 100, let's say, onboarding per day, it will be like 100 seconds and so forth. For 1 month, you will have like at least 1 hour, I would say, and or something like that. So with 1 hour of execution time per month, you can cover all those onboarding emails and moving data to a database. It's just an example for you to understand how actions are consumed.
All right. Also a question related to time. What happens if the allocated time is consumed? Will we have a special AppSumo add-on to increase the time on demand? I'm going to touch base first, then Marian will move on. First of all, you have to imagine, like, for the limited time deal, we have a hard limit, like for the highest tier, which is the highest tier is 30 hours, by the way. When you reach those 30 hours, there will be a hard stop. You won't be able to execute further. However, there are notifications. So we will send you notifications that, hey, your limit is approaching. When you notice that your limit is approaching, obviously you will have to contact sales. There will be a link in the dashboard, a banner popping up telling you, here is where you need to contact us in order to get more time. So that's how we deal with that. Go ahead. Do you want to intervene or something?
Andrei, on that?
Please.
So,
please.
Yes, everything that is LTD, it will be a hard stop on that execution time, that resource. But of course, after the Sumo campaign ends and the refund period will end, you will be able to request more resources if you need, and those will be like on top of free LTD or LTD tier that you have. You also have the possibility to request, let's say, 1 or 2 or 10 hours more per month. And we are working on self shop of execution time at this point. So on demand will be possible in short time until the refund 60-day will and on the LTDs, I think we will have those on-demand execution time that we can request, but not sure it will be like on-demand as you imagine now. Just you can request for recording execution time or stuff like that. Okay, let's move on. Okay, Andrei.
One more thing I wanted to mention, aside from the limited deals that we offer now, and which are hard cap, like as mentioned, the 30 hours tier, when you reach the hard stop, it's gonna stop if you didn't purchase additional. We have two concepts related to time execution. One is the soft limit and the other one is the hard limit. So when you will buy outside of the limited time deal, you will have also something which is called soft limit, and then you can go above the limit. But we can send you more info, I don't know, in product and ask question, we're gonna post it. Exactly.
Alex, do you want to say something?
Yeah, guys. I wanted to say that we have an incredible amount of questions, and that's good. That's really good, and it's a bit more than we expected, but it's really, really good. This means that people are really interested in what we're doing. I just wanted to add a special announcement and how we're going forward with this, because we're almost done the webinar time, which was 11:45. The special announcement is that besides the 2 LTD giveaways that we said, we'll also be adding one more Tier 1 LTD random extraction from all the questions, just so that everyone that asked the question has a fair chance of doing it. We want to also add that. I'll be copy-pasting the questions while you continue the discussion in a document to make sure that everyone's question is qualified for it. Cool. And again, this will be follow-up, and I think that we will follow up on these two. And I want to say that we're almost on time, but I would encourage us to extend a bit. Whoever wants to leave can leave. We extend till max till the beat of the hour, let's say, because you might be in different parts of the world. So until 59 minutes. We extend the question Q&A. Whoever wants to remain can remain. Whoever wants to exit can exit without any issues. You will be, if you were in the webinar, you will also be entered for the giveaway for the attendees. And make sure you ask the questions in the Q&A section. That's where we will be taking them out.
Thanks a lot.
And be assured we'll follow up on all of them.
And we'll follow up on all of them, yeah, next week for sure.
There are great questions there. Alex, I have a proposal. Let's run for the next 15 minutes that we have. Let's run to the most voted questions. Do you have a way to guide us to the most voted question to answer from?
While you answer, I'll look for them. So while you guys answer one question, I'll be on the lookout for them. I did see one that has 4 votes, but I'll put this one with 3 votes up.
Okay, so this one is, can no-code solution generally be called no-code though? Okay. While as you saying, I still require learning some scripts to make the most of its capability. So that's why we said we are no-code, low-code, and full code. No-code, low-code, and full code are ways of building automation and software. So if you are a technical business person, not a coder, you can build software and automation with PROCESIO without writing code or even low code. You just drag and drop some action, configure some action. Even a code API is not code, because you just configure the connection to that API, right? So that will be no code as an approach. But to use Procesio at its most, we also let you write code, to write your own actions. You build your own logic for the actions, or even to write some scripts, some JavaScript or Python, but that's for more advanced users. But any user that understands systems and now data flows between systems can build automation and software with Procesio. For example, I didn't write any code since 2010. I cannot write software anymore by writing code, but I can build software and automation with Procesio because I know the logic. I know how systems work and how data flows between them. Hope this answered the question.
Nothing
Next
to
one.
add.
Andrei, you want to add up something on that?
No, you covered it well. What happens when the service is down? Do we get an instant message? What happens to tasks that are in execution? Do they pile up in a queue? If I were to use this on a client interface, what kind of message would my client receive at that time? All right, tough one, I would say. All right, so first of all, as mentioned and as shown in our quick demo, whatever presentation, you have something which is called end process notification. So when something starts failing, you probably will be notified. In case of scheduled downtime, usually, and we plan to have scheduled downtime, especially not to affect people, but let's say once a year or once every 2 years, you need to have something in order to do a major upgrade or something like that. Usually we notify everyone in advance for that and we plan this accordingly. And let's say if there is catastrophe disasters, most probably people will be notified, I would say. So that would be the answer. You will be notified. We didn't have, like, Marian, did we have downtime lately in terms of, I don't know, not being executed?
Not as far as I know. We have a solid infrastructure architecture, and Procesio architecture is quite complex, covering most of this stuff. So I say we are covered. And what you will build with Procesio, as Andrei said, you'll be able to set up like notification when a process ends or fails, so you will know what happened with your processes. And you said that you want to use Procesio in your client environment. Not sure if I get that point, but you can build software on top of Procesio. Procesio can be the engine, the backend of your solution, and you can do that, of course.
Yeah, and let's be honest, in the end, we work with products, softwares, and we have procedures for dealing with all this catastrophe stuff, and it might happen, but so far it didn't, and we aim for it not to happen.
Yep.
And we do everything all our best.
Hope that answers.
Can we save?
Let's move
yeah. Can we save a scenario as a template and share it? Well, that's a good one. I will take this. First of all, there is something, a feature that I didn't show as part of the demo, which is called import-export. And if you have a business account, once you build a process, you'll be able to export it.
Business account is also an LTD account or Epsumo LTD account. The account that have workspaces, not the personal account.
Exactly so. So once you save your work, you'll be able to export it. All the process and process related resources can be exported, and then on the other side, in another workspace or share it with another user, he will be able to import it. We have a community at this point on Discord where you can do this part of sharing. And additionally, on our public roadmap, not sure if there is a link here somewhere, but we'll share. On our public roadmap, you'll be able to depict something which we call process library. And we want to enable in the future our community to be able to share what they built in that library, and also other people to download those templates and have some sharing is caring.
Andrei, let's share some news on that. Guys, we are planning to have a marketplace that will be for the next year. It will not be possible this year, but in preparation for the marketplace, we will have the process library and also some dedicated channels in our Discord where people can share their project. And if you want to test this, if you go to our YouTube and look at the last video that we uploaded, the ChatGPT one, we also provided a link to a PROCESIO file that can be uploaded in your workspace. So just test that. So it's already there. Let's move to the next one. Okay,
you are established company moving from B2B to B2C. What are the most frequent use cases of PROCESIO for freelancer and solopreneur?
Can I start on this? Okay. So yes, we are established company. We are still B2B and will be B2B. We are a company started in 2011 actually with automation in the energy industry, and PROCESIO it's like a business unit, like a startup inside this bigger company, covering this industry agnostic automations. So we are B2B and will be B2B, but also we are moving to, I will not say B2C, we do not see it B2C, but we are moving towards product-led growth, because right now we are sales-led growth. And why we are doing these LDDs and AppSumo campaign and product hunt is to move towards building the community, because this is valuable for us. You building stuff with PROCESIO. This is what we want. This is what we gain from these LTDs and campaigns. We will not gain money. It's not about that, because it will cost us more than we will gain as revenue from that. But we will gain something more valuable. You using PROCESIO and providing feedback on that. So this is why we are doing what we are doing now.
So join us on Discord, ask questions on Product Hunt, do all that stuff, all the magic, because we appreciate the feedback. We want to put your things on the roadmap, vote our roadmap, and so on. It's all about you in the end. Thanks. Okay, let's move on. Do you count the processing time if we are still doing testing? Yes, we do count processing time if you are doing testing. And by the way, there is a feature called test action, and that time also will count. When you test an action, that time will count. Test action will be probably available, I don't know, don't want to share an ETA, but it's something that we will bring in PROCESIO.
And why
delay?
Sorry,
I was moving on.
Why we count that? Because it costs us. When you execute an action, you execute our infrastructure. But we don't know any case of building automation that takes that much of execution time. Execution time is consumed faster when you have, let's say, a simple process. It doesn't matter if it's simple or complex, but run it in production with a high frequency. Let's say you set 1 minute scheduler, or you have like thousands of onboarding flows per day. That math will count, not building the actual process. Yes, it will count some execution time, but let's say a few seconds, a few minutes, depending on your building skills. Let's move on.
Is delay? I'm moving on. Is delay action counted to processing time? No, delay action is not counting to processing time, and there are also some other actions that are not counted. Namely, I can mention them. That's the start, stop, the join, and the delay. So these actions are not counted in to execution time.
Yep.
Do you have any plans to build academy for low-code use cases to educate users? For sure, that's for sure, and I dream about having an academy for a long time, and hopefully we'll also put some resources into that. I don't think I'm able even to give a timeline on this, but for sure we are thinking on having that. Marian, I'm not sure.
I can provide an overview. So academy of, let's see, PROCESIO Academy, it's already something that we have, but it's highly intensive, and for enterprise customers, we have an academy. But for us to move that towards, let's say, every people using PROCESIO, it will take some time. We plan to tackle it a bit at the end of this year, the beginning of the next year. So that's feasible. Sooner than that will not be feasible, to be honest. But we already have something like that, as I mentioned, on the enterprise side.
Yes, we can also give a sneak peek on how fun that looks, but probably separately we can show people, and also probably we could obtain some valuable feedback on it. Okay, let's move on to the next question. I'm not sure if there are still something popping up. I want to link a process with Microsoft RPA. Is it possible? Tough question, because I'm not sure what Microsoft RPA exposes in terms of call API, but I would say yes. You need to go through the Microsoft RPA documentation. I'm not sure what RPA probably you use. Maybe if you go on our Discord channel, be a bit more specific related to the software from Microsoft you use, then we will be able to answer you for sure. But I expect Microsoft to have, I don't know, good documentation and APIs, and then most probably you will be able to use PROCESIO for your use case.
Regarding RPA, I want to adapt that it's possible to orchestrate both RPA robots with PROCESIO, and just to emphasize on the fact that with PROCESIO you can connect to anything that exposes an API, an MS SQL connection, an email, an SFTP, stuff like that. So if you have access to that system, you can take and put data in it. Next one.
I'm gonna take this one. Can we create or import templates for the document designer? Not yet. It's coming. We thought about having templates for we want to give you predefined templates for document designer. We are not there yet, but it's a good suggestion. Go on Discord, put it on the roadmap, and vote, so it goes up. Can we already clone scenarios? Yes. I'm not sure. I'm trying to extrapolate a bit, or not import, duplicate process. Easy. You can duplicate the process. When you're in PROCESIO, you have like a contextual menu. You click on it, and then you have the option duplicate process. When the process duplicates, it's gonna duplicate in a deactivated mode. So don't get scared, because you just need to click the activate button, and the duplication will also work. Hope I've covered it.
So Alex,
I wanted to ask the PROCESIO team, do you still have execution time left in your plan?
Thank you for reminding us.
It was great and good questions, by the way. Hopefully we lift it up to the expectations, I would say.
Yeah, and it's really odd, because we have more people after the webinar finished officially than we had during the webinar. So people kept on staying and joining, and actually very few people left. So PROCESIO team, first of all, it's up to you if you want to keep it going for a couple of minutes. Answer one